This video is why you need to eat more fiber, the benefits of dietary fiber and the problems of being low in it. So fiber leads to bacteria in the gut producing this magical substance called butyrate. It's a 4-carbon carboxylic acid, like the alkanes, butane, butanoic acid, 4-carbon carboxylic acid. It goes into your gut lining cells called the enterocytes, because your gut's called the enteric tract. And then it's used to make tight junctions, which prevent leaky gut. They're the tight spots, like this blue marker between if each of my fists is a gut lining cell, an enterocyte, the blue thing is the tight junction. That way none of the bad bacterial stuff can get across into your blood, into your gut wall. Okay, it also strengthens the mucus, the production of mucus by the gut cells, which keeps away the bad bacteria. There's antimicrobial stuff in that gut mucus. In addition, it helps the mitochondria in your gut cells and other cells of your body to make more ATP, more energy. And it also reduces inflammation, shuts down inflammatory cytokines. It tells your gut wall to calm down. This helps prevent inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome. And these tight junctions help prevent allergies, food sensitivities, gluten sensitivities, all of this stuff. Okay, so remember that. Butyrate's your friend. It's a short-chain fatty acid, and it comes from dietary fiber. Okay, I'm going to explain all this stuff in a moment, but dietary fiber is much more important than people realize. All right, let me shrink myself here, and I'll get out of the way. So basically, you only get fiber from plant foods. Okay, there is no fibers exclusively found in plants. I got this slide from Gurmeet Singh Manku. He's a friend of mine, does nutrition lectures. Okay, fiber gets removed from ultra-processed food because the bugs eat it, so they take that out so the food can sit on the shelf a lot longer. There's no fiber in oil and sugar. You get your fiber from plant foods. That's it, okay? Very, very little from processed foods. And most people eat a lot of the bad stuff, okay? And as far as disease associations, basically, let's make it simple. Everything bad is associated with a low-fiber diet. Everything good is associated with a high fiber. Oh, this is supposed to be high fiber. I put green for good. That should be a high fiber diet, so I screwed up. But still, if you eat high fiber, you'll have regular bowel movements. It attracts water to the stool. You'll be skinny most likely. You know, 1 billion out of 1 billion plant-based diet eaters, they're almost always skinny, okay? Look at me, I'm skinny and healthy in my 60s. You know, typical Americans, fat, sick, and stupid by their 60s, often by 55. You know, the old joke about Eastern European women, they're often beautiful until they hit middle age, then they look like Stalin's housekeeper because they eat high-fat diet like all these Polish people and Eastern Europeans, okay? And all these, you know, Germans, these beer and sausage people, they get all fat and sick and bloated. And so I'm telling you, you can avoid that. Eat low-fat, plant-based diet. So people eat a low-fat diet, low-fiber diet. They're constipated. They're fat. They're hypertensive. They're diabetic. They get atherosclerosis, coronary artery disease, atrial fibrillation, congestive heart failure. Because they got leaky gut, they get autoimmune disease, allergies to food sensitivities, increased asthma, increased nasal sinus congestion, systemic increased inflammation. They also get leaky blood-brain barrier, which leads to anxiety, volatility of mood swings. They act like jerks. They're impulsive. They can't hold a conversation like an intelligent person. They have headaches, brain fogs. They're stupid, okay? Abdominal pressure syndrome due to the constipation. We talked about that before. Increased risk of cancer, including colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. And they got more dementia, okay? So they're messed up. All the good stuff, you avoid all this stuff by eating a high-fiber diet, okay? Jeff Nelson over at VegSource, he says, fiber is life, pharma is death. Okay, here's just a little bit more detailed picture. The fiber goes to feed these smiley face good gut bacteria. And so good gut bacteria make it into something good. They make it into SCFA, short-chain fatty acids. There's 2-carbon acetate, 3-carbon propionate, and 4-carbon butyrate. Butyrate's the most important one. It's really the only one you need to know about. Okay, and they use that to make tight junctions. And the tight junctions prevent bad things from getting across the gut wall. And they make more mucus, etc. Now, if you don't have adequate amounts of fiber, you get bacterial toxins. So these are the purple people eaters, these purple bad bacteria. Their endotoxins break through the wall because there's no tight junction there. And then they get into the gut wall and they irritate the gut wall, causing bloating, abdominal pain, and they'll also cause, they'll then get into the blood and they'll cause the immune system reaction, and they'll cause autoimmune disease, they'll cause allergic reactions, food sensitivities. They also cause nasal sinus congestion. They make the airways hyperreactive. They cause asthma. Okay, my brother used to have asthma exercise asthma and food-induced asthma because he ate a lot of crap food when he was in college, and it screwed up his athletic career. Okay, he later went on to become a world champion when he started eating better because he didn't have all this leaky gut. Other things can cause leaky gut too, toxins to the gut wall. But the point is, if you don't have the dietary fiber, you're screwed. Okay. Average American's only eating about 10 to 15 grams a day. That is not enough. The extra butyrate, after it helps the gut wall, it also goes into the blood, goes up to the brain, helps make the blood-brain barrier, helps make the retinal barrier around your eyeballs, which are like part of your brain, and your gonads also have a blood gonadal barrier. So it protects your balls, it protects your brain, it protects your eyes, it protects your gut. You want your fiber, okay? At a minimum, you should be getting 30 grams a day, preferably 50 grams a day. Our ancestors were eating about 100 grams a day. So here's just another paper. Short-chain fatty acids, they protect your blood-brain barrier, okay? So you don't get leaky blood-brain barrier and get brain inflammation. They also protect your lungs, they protect your kidneys. They do good things all over your body, okay? And then, like I said, the bad gut bacteria, they produced, so the good gut bacteria, you only need to know 2 types of gut bacteria. All you need to know is there's good bacteria that feed on fiber and they do good things for you, like make short-chain fatty acids to maintain your tight junctions so you don't get leaky gut. The bad gut bacteria do all kinds of bad things. They make glucuronidase, an enzyme that deconjugates estrogen, so you end up having estrogen overload, making you fat, increasing breast cancer risk, endometrial cancer, uterine cancer risk, okay, increase your risk of endometriosis, a polycystic ovary syndrome, all that stuff. Estrogen's a fat storage hormone. They make TMAO, trimethylamine oxidase, hydrogen sulfide, heterocyclic amines, all these things that increase your risk of cancer or atherosclerosis. They're bad, okay? Okay, now let's see, what else am I going to say about fiber? Dietary fiber, your glucose and your fat's going to be absorbed in your small bowel. The fiber goes all the way down into the colon. Some of the nitrogen from protein also makes it to the colon, whereas the fiber causes a drop in the pH of the colon because of the production of the short-chain fatty acids. That's actually a good thing. That helps the good gut bacteria to survive. The nitrogen excess from protein excess gets converted to ammonia, and that raises the pH of your colon, and that is harmful to your good gut bacteria, so it hurts you. Okay, we talked about the tight junctions being necessary to protect you from autoimmune disease. They also protect you from brain inflammation, because if the bacterial endotoxins get into your blood because of leaky gut, that means you also have leaky blood-brain barrier because you're short on butyrate that's needed for your blood-brain barrier, and they get access to your brain. They cause brain inflammation. Your microglia, immune cells of your brain, remove the bacterial endotoxins, and in so doing, they release toxic chemicals, respiratory burst, which damage collateral adjacent brain cells, neurons. They destroy them, causing apoptosis of brain cells, causing a loss of brain cells, causing brain atrophy, leading to brain fog, leading to you becoming prematurely demented, stupid. Let's see, some foods that are high in fiber, beans and berries. Most grains are high in fiber. White rice is not. They've removed the fiber from it. But the advantage of white rice over brown rice is white rice has having less fat in it. It has only 1% of calories from fat. It stores longer on a shelf. The second good thing about white rice is it'll have less arsenic than brown rice, okay? Most Americans want the wrong things. They want protein, but you don't need protein. Nobody's protein deficient in America. They want so-called good fats. That's all fake. That's just a term made up by the high-fat phonies. They want calcium, they want iron, but those things were overloaded in them. And they don't want the good stuff, the complex carbohydrates, okay, or starch, potassium, magnesium, antioxidants, plant nitrates, all the stuff that comes from plant foods. Okay, here's just another paper showing that butyrate is also good for mitochondrial function, and it's good for your kidneys. Tons of people are in kidney failure. Okay, and here's another paper saying it helps prevent diabetes. Okay, great. Now here's just some fiber numbers. How much fiber do you actually get in different plant foods? Like a cup of beans. Beans have lots of fibers. That's partly why they get that reputation for a second meal effect, meaning that you stay hunger satisfied a prolonged amount of time. The fiber also helps prevent rebound hypoglycemia because it prevents a rapid spike upward in blood glucose level. Okay, it slows down your absorption of glucose. A starch is polymer or glucose wrapped in fiber, so the fiber has to be removed by the gut before that glucose comes in. When you put something in a blender to make a smoothie, you grind it up and you remove most of the fiber. That's one of the disadvantages of doing that. Some people do it because they say that way they eat more fruits and veggies, which can be true, but I hate the loud noise. It's bad for my ears. That's why I don't do it. Okay, what else? What other levels of fiber? We got pretty good fiber in oats. Veggies, they got some fiber, not that much, but they got some. Fruits can have a decent amount, especially the berries. The berries are pretty good in fiber. So anyways, there it is. A lentil's got a lot of fiber. I think that's all I got. So as Jeff Nelson over Veg Store says, fiber is your friend. Fiber is life, pharma is death. And you can see now, there's lots of reasons why you want to eat more fiber. It makes you smarter, it makes you skinnier, it makes you healthier, it makes you more energetic. All the bad diseases go to low fiber diet, like those keto, paleo, carnivore, stupid idiots. So anyways, there it is. Hope you found it helpful.